Coronavirus. Pastor who decried hysteria dies after attending Mardi Gras. Pastor Landon Spradlin wasn't worried about coronavirus when he went to New Orleans to preach during Mardi Gras. A month later, he was dead. He loved to laugh. He loved to play guitar. He played guitar even when he wasn't supposed to, says Jess Spradlin of her father Landon. He was just the best man in the world. One day when this is all over, the wife and 5 children of Pastor Landon Spradlin hope to hold a large celebratory memorial for him. For now, they have had to make do with a funeral at which there were just a handful in attendance, including the blues guitarist who played at the graveside. A little over a month ago, Pastor Spradlin, who was 66, drove with his wife, Jean, to 900 miles, 1,500 kilometers from their home in Virginia to Louisiana for Mardi Gras. He viewed the festivities as an opportunity through music to save the souls of some of the hundreds of thousands of people that would attend. He was joined by 2 of his daughters who came over from Texas. His mission was to go into pubs, clubs, and bars, play the blues and connect with musicians, and just tell them that Jesus loved them, says Jess Spradlin, 28. Mardi Gras is like Times Square in New York during New Year's Eve. It's a sea of people just drinking and partying, she says. He was loud and laughing and in his element. Over recent years, Pastor Spradlin had realized a dream of using the preaching he had honed in churches across 3 states and taking it to the streets through the medium he loved. He had been playing instruments since the age of 4 and in 2016 was inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame. But it was religion that he felt had saved him from alcoholism and drug addiction in his 20s. Those dark years are why he now had a particular affinity for those who felt down and out, something he could relate to. At Mardi Gras, the family band played in New Orleans, busy Jackson Square, unaware of the threat they faced. I don't even remember us talking about the virus, says Naomi Spradlin, 26. With what's happened, we keep looking back, and we didn't talk about it once. They were not the only ones, even though it had been more than a month since the first coronavirus case in the U.S. Mardi Gras went on as planned. Officials in the city now blame government inaction for what appears to have been a large spike in cases that followed. Pastor Spradlin was one of those who became ill but tested negative for COVID-19. Even as he was sick, he posted on social media about hysteria surrounding the virus. On the 13th March, Pastor Spradlin and Donald Trump, respectively, had been treated very differently by the media, and that it was a politically motivated ploy to harm President Trump. Earlier the very same day, the president himself had insinuated something very similar at a news conference. Pastor Spradlin's son, Landon Isaac, 32, told me that he and his father had talked and agreed about what they felt was an irrational frenzy and fear-mongering about the virus, perhaps because it was an election year. I want to say outright, though, Dad didn't think it was a hoax. He knew it was a real virus, says Landon Isaac. But he did put up that post because he was frustrated that the media was propagating fear as the main mode of communication, he told me. By mid-March, though, Pastor Spradlin's health suddenly took a turn for the worse. He and his wife decided to make the long drive back from New Orleans to their home in Virginia. I spoke to him 5 minutes before he collapsed in North Carolina, says Landon Isaac. I could tell his breathing was getting bad, and I just said that you've got to get home, but he didn't make it. Pastor Spradlin was taken to hospital in North Carolina where they discovered he had developed pneumonia in both lungs and he now also tested positive for the coronavirus. After 8 days in intensive care, Pastor Spradlin died. It's a lot like Dad was out support column and somebody kicked out the support column. It feels like the roof is falling down on all of our on all of our heads right now, says Landon Isaac. For days, he and his four siblings had to communicate with their mother through the glass door of her home. The funeral that has just taken place happened the day after Jean Spradlin's quarantine finally ended. We just never thought our father would pass away because of this, but he wasn't the type of person to just live in fear and let it rob him of the joy of the life that he had, says Jess Spradlin.